Let's ask Tom Curran that question. The Patriots insider. 7-10 with Mac Jones, 10-7 with Cam Newton, if you ask Patriots fans.
They would happily, well, all right. They would rather see 7-10 with Mac Jones, but I don't think that there's any planet on which Cam Newton would extract more wins from this team in 2021 than Mac Jones.
Oh, really? So do you think this is truly open competition between these two?
It very much truly is an open competition, and it's getting closer by the day if it's not already a horse race.
Well, what did you see last night that would change somebody's opinion?
Well, Bill has put it out there beginning with the draft that it's Cam's job, Cam's the starter, and he kind of reiterated that a second time, which I think was reading off the cue cards at the beginning of camp. But since then, the Patriots have divvied up reps throughout the training camp practices. And then they did the same thing yesterday. And what we saw last night is a complete reflection, Dan, of what we're seeing on the practice field. Jones goes back, reads the defense, puts his foot in the ground, decides where he's going to go with the ball, and puts it out on time and accurately. Cam Newton, his forte is none of those things. His forte is moving with the ball a little bit, running a little bit, throwing with great pace. And every fourth or fifth throw, Dan, you end up saying, my God, what was that? My God.
In a bad way.
Yeah, exactly. And Mac Jones is not having any of those throws where you're going, oh my God, how did he even do that? He throws into some tight windows and you say, wow, that was really kind of good to fit it in there, but he's not dropping your jaw either.
But also when you're trying to plan this offense and you're going, okay, we got a running quarterback and then we have a pocket quarterback. It's kind of hard to say, hey, our offense kind of can morph into whatever we need to have it morph into. What are they built for? Are they built for Mac Jones or built for Cam Newton?
When you look at, I think a lot of people would contend that they're built to run the ball and be a bully because they have the two tight ends and they have like 5 very good running backs and they have an offensive line that can bang people around. But I don't think any team is built to have a guy who can be an impediment to successfully throwing the football. And that's what Cam sometimes is. As you pointed out, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, all of these guys they brought in to throw the football to, not to block, not to watch somebody run around. So Mac Jones is going to extract more from those investments than Cam will be able to.
What did you make of Belichick's post-game demeanor?
I thought he was upbeat. I thought he was, kind of satisfied with what he saw in a lot of ways. Did you hear his answer to the challenge question? Asked him why he didn't challenge a completion to Jacoby Myers, which was clearly a completion. Yeah, just didn't feel like it. Those are the things you say at 69.
I brought up the comparison that Belichick and Greg Popovich are similar because they had their run. They are great. They're Hall of Famers, amongst the greats of their sport. But San Antonio is not winning a championship again anytime soon. And the Patriots feel like they're a few years away. You buy into that comparison?
Yeah, it's not unfair. Just the interesting thing about football as opposed to basketball, not like I'm preaching to you any great knowledge that you don't have, is a coach matters more in football. And you can eliminate a lot of teams right out of the chutes because they're the Patriots were not a 7-9 team last year. They were a 3-13 team. And Belichick was able to have a game plan for a quarterback who was challenged as a thrower and a special teams, and he would be in-game management and win games like over San Diego, which was a much more talented team, like 43-0. So when I look at Belichick, he's now invested and he has the players. Popovich might not ever have the players again, but the quarterback, as important as he is, he's not as important as a Duncan or a LeBron or a Kawhi or a Jimmy Butler was last year.
I wonder how tough it is to get free agents with Brady gone, because Brady gave you that possibility of winning a championship, and you don't have that person right now.
And it was going away a little bit, though, at the end of Brady's run here. That was an interesting thing because there was an uncertainty around Brady. You remember, I think it was Adam Humphries went to the Tennessee Titans instead of coming to New England. Jared Cook, it's like, is Gronk coming back? Is he not? He eventually signs with New Orleans instead. really the money talked this offseason with Belichick. And once these guys get in here, there's still an aura to Belichick that they're honored to be in the system. Some guys aren't. Some guys play here and they're like, this guy stinks. Get me out of here. But I think this is going to be a really interesting season, Dan. I cannot imagine this team not having double-digit wins, and they're going to be a lot better than you think.
The Patriots gave Gronk's number out. Is this a big deal? It's being made into a big deal that somehow they're supposed to retire Gronk's jersey?
Well, it was Rashay Caldwell's number. Okay. They gave it to Gronk.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was Ben Coates' number too. You can't retire them all. And I think the Patriots, when they were kind of a moribund franchise for about 40 years, they said, okay, well, we can retire Bruce Armstrong and Gino Cappelletti's and Steve Nelson's numbers, and no one will ever miss them. What are we going to do? Go through all 100 of them? Well, now, I mean, you see a guy running around in 33, and you're like, oh, it's not Kevin Falk. I wonder what they probably should have retired his. You can't retire them all in football, Dan. Too many humans.
Yeah, but Gronk is the greatest receiver you had in team history.
They have not stood on ceremony too much with it. I mean, even Bledsoe's numbers getting handed out. I don't know when that first got reissued, but if 12 got handed to Mac Jones, then we'd have a real story.
Yeah, though that was my next question. If I'm Mac Jones, I just say, look, you think I'm going to be him? Why don't you just give me his jersey?
That would have been a bold move.
Why number 50 for Mac Jones in training camp?
He does that with all the draft picks. He gives them numbers in the 50s. So the first round, the first guy gets 50. The second guy selected gets 51, and then 52, and so forth. So Ramondre Stevenson, the running back who rumbled for 91 yards last night on a touchdown, he had number 53 until yesterday.
Matt Damon fallout, where Matt Damon came on the show and said that he doesn't root for the Patriots. He'll root for Tom Brady. What kind of repercussions were felt in the Northeast?
As you might imagine, he's a Hollywood guy anyway. I mean, kid, no one cares. No one cares what Matt Damon is rooting for, kid.
Are you using your accent there?
Yeah, and I don't think when I affect it, it really works as well. So, but
what if Mark Wahlberg said it?
Boy, you know what? Those guys, they know where their bread's buttered. If they want to go to Super Bowls, whether it's Tampa Bay or New England, you want to make sure that you're good with Tommy.
Great to see you. How's morale?
Here at the house, pretty good. We're all upbeat. It's going to be a warm weekend. All we have is the press conference with Bill. It's already done. We're good here. We're going to play some golf.
All right. Well, good to talk to you again. Thank you, Tom.
All right, Dan.
That's
Thank you.
Tommy Curran, the Patriots insider.